Welcome to the ACS Mental Health Counseling YouTube channel. My name is Adam Schwartz, and I'm a licensed mental health counselor in New York, focusing on anxiety disorders and men's issues. This channel is dedicated to helping people live healthier, happier, more productive lives, utilizing the insights of psychotherapy, social science, and most particularly, philosophy. This first series of videos is going to be focused on micro tips, tricks, and hacks to help improve your mental health. In my humble opinion, people massively undervalue how much tips, tricks, hacks, habits, structure, routine can actually do for their mental health. Typically, people are looking for some kind of profound insight to happen during a psychotherapy session or in between psychotherapy sessions. And why this does happen sometimes, it doesn't happen as often as people think, and it doesn't tend to have the profound effect that people think. So we really want to prioritize habits, routine, and structure. This first tip is somewhat meta-positioned around over the subsequent tips in that it is not something entirely actionable in and of itself, but it is more a way to think about change, more a concept for change and a model for change. So you'll be able to hopefully use this in connection to different ideas and different actual concrete changes downstream of this idea. And it's simply this. It's very simple. Start smaller when you're trying to make a change to your habits. You want to make change to your habits, but you want to start small. A small change today equals massive growth over time, massive improvement in your mental health over time. Now, the mistake that most people make when they're making a change is they go too big, too quickly, and they want it to fix everything all at once. And unfortunately, this isn't a great model for change. And then they just get frustrated and ended up more dejected back where they started. Let's take, for example, someone who's noticed that they've let themselves go a little bit. They've packed on a few extra pounds. They've been a little sedentary for the last couple of years. It happens to all of us on occasion. Usually it makes itself known in a very concrete, for instance, like you're walking up a set of stairs and you're just tireder than you feel like you should be. What this hypothetical person might do, of course, is decide, okay, that's it. I'm now going to start jogging 3 miles a day every day. Okay? That is not a great model for change. That's obviously too much. You're going to make yourself sore. You're going to make yourself frustrated. You're going to give it up. And again, you're going to be in an even more dejected place than when you started. What we want to implement, rather, is this idea of zone of proximal development. And this is a concept in education, and it works basically like this. If you're teaching a child to read, you're not going to start a first grader with Proust or Shakespeare or Charles Dickens because they're going to get frustrated. They're not going to enjoy it. They're not going to extract the feeling of success and meaning that they should get from the activity. So you start a first grader with first grade reading. And as they get comfortable with that, you move them on to second grade reading. And it's a little bit of a struggle at first, but once they get comfortable with that, you move them on to third grade reading. This is how anyone learns how to do anything, and it's very intuitive to us usually. So to go back to my exercise example, what you want to do instead of running 3 miles a day, of course, is maybe I start walking for 10 minutes a day. Maybe I do that 3 days a week. I just start there. And maybe that's a little easy, and maybe I don't even get that much from it, but now at least I'm succeeding at my goal. And what's neat is the goal will expand organically on its own as you get bored with it. It'll follow that same model of zone of proximal growth. So pretty soon, you're going to be saying, this is just too easy. Let me walk 12 minutes a day. Let me do it every day instead of 3 days a week. I'll do it 7 days a week. And then pretty soon after that, maybe you're doing it 15 minutes a day. You let this just happen organically as your zone of proximal growth develops. The goal will increase on its own. And the mistake that I think most people make is they don't appreciate the long-term effect of small change. And to appreciate this, we need to bring in a little bit of geometry. This is the concept of trajectory of growth and angle amplification over time. Take, for instance, let's say you invest in a stock. You don't actually need that stock to triple in value in the first month. That's a profound rate of change, and it might feel really good short term. But ultimately, it might even indicate that it's kind of a volatile stock and it wasn't a great investment for you. All you need is for that stock to increase in value, maybe 1 or 2% in a month, and then 1 or 2% in a subsequent month, and so on and so forth. And that trajectory, that positive rate of change, really turns into a great investment that builds in a lot of value over the course of a long while, which is what you want from an investment, and it's what you want when you're making changes in your life as well. So here are some actionable examples. Maybe you want to start reading. Let's say maybe your attention span has been a little bit fractured, as all of ours have, by phones and social media and games on our phone. And You just want to start reading, because reading a concrete physical book is a great way to begin to reunify your attention span. Start by just reading a page a day. That's super achievable goal. 1 page a day. Almost anyone can do that, of course, and you're not going to fail at it. It has the great virtue of being a goal that you're not likely to fail at. And in reality, you set it as a goal. Maybe you're reading 2, 3, 4, 5 pages, but you're succeeding every day, and that's important. Or maybe you want to start meditating. Don't start by meditating for 20 minutes. That is a gargantuan goal that you're likely to fail at. It's very difficult if you're not acclimated to meditation to meditate for 20 minutes. Find a little micro meditation on YouTube. Meditate for 3 minutes. Do that every day. As it becomes easy, maybe you begin to increase how long you're meditating. This is the meaningful model of change. And keep this in mind, because this is important. The small change that you can maintain over time is vastly more valuable than the gargantuan change that you're going to abandon in a week. So start today with something small. Doesn't really matter too much that it is what it is, and it doesn't really matter if it's initially challenging or not. What's neat, once again, the goal will expand on its own almost organically with just a little bit of intent from you. And what's neat too, in addition to the goal expanding on its own, the goal will actually proliferate into other goals, I find, as well. For instance, maybe you start with a couple minutes of walking. Pretty soon you're saying, what else can I do? And you're doing some push-ups, or you're taking a multivitamin, or you're doing a little bit of meditation, or you're reading a page a day. Now you've got multiple goals that you're achieving every day. And here's a little hack as well that's incredibly useful. Get yourself a habit building app. Habit building apps have a very effective yet some kind of cheap way of hacking our psychology that is incredibly useful, and we don't utilize them enough. There is something about us that finds checking things off of lists to be incredibly satisfying, and watching little streaks building up is incredibly satisfying. So utilize a habit building app. And remember, discipline makes us feel better about ourselves. Setting an intent and following through on that intent gives an immediate boost to our mood, makes us feel better, makes us more effective in the world. All right, that is the first tip, trick, and hack in this series. The next one is likely going to be about small little tips for building confidence. I look forward to seeing you at that one. Thank you for joining me in this video. Take care of yourself and go pursue a better you.